Before I start the video, I'd like to thank the following sources. Now, on with the video. The Arcade is a place where you get some quarters, put it in an arcade cabinet, and if you're good at one of these games, you have a good amount of fun for a couple hours. Well, in this video, I'll be talking about all the Disneyland arcades that are now long gone. The first arcade on the list is the Davy Crockett Arcade. This Disneyland Arcade was one of the many arcades that have existed at Disneyland. It replaced the Davy Crockett Museum in October of 1959. Of course, both the museum and the arcade were named after the king of the wild frontier, Davy Crockett. The arcade was located in Frontierland. This arcade did not have a lot of games, including a pistol shooting game. The arcade lasted from 1959 to 1985. Most of the space in the Davy Crockett Arcade was used to sell Wild West themed merchandise. Next on the list is Teddy Bear's Swingin' Arcade, named after a character from the Country Bear Jamboree. This arcade didn't have many arcade games either. The arcade lasted 41 years, a good run for any arcade. Moving on, we have one of the coolest Disneyland arcades that have ever existed, and that is the Pirates Arcade Museum. Located in New Orleans Square, there were many pirate-themed arcade games such as Freebooter Shooter, a game where you shot at drunk pirates. There was a Captain Hook game, and a game called Pirate Shoot, and all the arcade games only cost a dime. Eventually, the games became very outdated. The Pirate Arcade lasted from 1967 to 1980. The arcade was replaced by Pieces of 8, and one of the old machines outside of the Pieces of 8 that used to be in the Pirates Arcade included a fortune-telling pirate named Fortune Red. It tells you your fortune. While I was doing my research about the Pirate Arcade, well, the Pieces of 8 specifically, I found this picture of the Pieces of 8, and look at what's behind the woman at the counter. That's Kodak film tape. This picture was taken in 2005, so they were still using Kodak film. Just a interesting fact. Now the last Disneyland arcade on the list, the legendary Starcade at Disneyland. This arcade opened along with Space Mountain. It had every arcade game that you could possibly imagine for maybe 1987. That might be an overstatement, but it was totally awesome for its time. It had Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Zaxxon, Dig Dug, and for some strange reason, Jurassic Park: The Lost World, the arcade game, was at the Starcade. When the arcade first opened, it had a second floor with more arcade games, but eventually the second floor was blocked off and recently opened as a queue for Space Mountain. To advertise for the upcoming film Wreck-It Ralph, the Starcade had a meet and greet where you could meet Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope from the movie. This only lasted a couple years or so, but the most terrible thing to ever happen to the Starcade in its whole history is when it became a major retail space for merchandise. And a couple years after that, the Starcade closed its doors forever. From 1977 to 2015. The Starcade will have a reputation of being Disneyland's most iconic arcade, at least in my opinion. Why did these arcades close in the first place? Well, it's quite simple. Just the new generation didn't like them. They were irrelevant. Now, in an era where you could just sit on the couch and play whatever game you want to at whatever time, it's just, you don't need arcades anymore, and Disney won't bring the Starcade back, or any arcade. But I hope that one day, some arcades may return to Disneyland. Thanks for watching. Like always, remember to like and subscribe. Goodbye.